morning everyone, it's Yvonne here to do your What's Cracking reading. Before we go any further, firstly I want to say a big thank you. I know I do the thank you every day. I never stop being grateful for the support I get, but the lovely comments I had the last couple of days have been so beautiful. I know that I'm moving and I know things have been a little bit pushed for time. But please understand too that I do love doing this, so it is something I miss when I'm not doing it, and I know how much you appreciate me, and I think it's really beautiful to have people still coming in and saying thank you to me. So I feel very humbled by your messages and how you've sort of supported me on the journey. So please know that I love you all for saying such beautiful things, and they never ever do I take that for granted. All right, scammers are on the loose. Watch out for scammers. I've got a lot of people offering to cast spells. Be careful if you're going to go down that avenue. I feel like the best thing you can do is source your own person. Do not take people that are riding on the back of other readers. It's not very healthy anyway to ride on the back of people who've already got a name for themselves. I think that in itself says that you're dealing with people who are pretty sad. Let's call them sad. For those who keep duplicating my pages and trying to sell themselves off at me, that's probably different level wrong. But for you people, the most important thing is to understand that I would never approach you for readings. It's not, I don't think any tarot card reader does. Or a psychic does that, but just be careful. Don't give your money away to people unless you're really sure who you know and you know who you're dealing with. All right, if you do want a personal reading with me, you can go to my website www.theaussiegoddess.com, and then it's your choice, not mine. All right, let's see what's going on. I'm going to use the Cosmic Tarot again today, because I pulled this out by accident and I've really enjoyed getting back in touch with it again. All right, so we have the Princess of Cups coming through. So this, you know, to me is always that message of something to do with love. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean it's somebody, you know, texting you for a date. Sometimes it can be an invitation to something. It could also be the announcement of something. So announcement of a new birth, announcement of a pregnancy. Some of you have got somebody around you who's falling pregnant when they've been trying for a long time here, and I feel there's a lot of sort of elation in this card. For others of you, this could be an opportunity, something that you're going to really want to jump at. But remember, the pages are only messengers, so they've not taken action. But they usually come through some sort of message. It can be still word of mouth, but usually I find that sort of inadvertent when the pages come around, sort of overhearing something or somebody telling you something, you know, hey, this job's available, this person's now single, that sort of energy. But something is coming your way here. Now, it could be to do with love because we have the Lovers card here. But let us not forget that the Lovers card also indicates there's some sort of choice here. And it could be that you're choosing whether to respond to this message, whether you want to go to this particular thing. There is some sort of choice behind this. Maybe you don't want to go where an invitation is because somebody you know is going to be there and you just don't want to face up to that. So it's definitely some choice in love here. All right, so we have the Temperance card. I can't help feeling that some of you have come out of some sort of healing phase and you're about to be invited to something where you know, or you have a really good indication that somebody is there that you don't want to sort of follow through with. It may not be just a romantic thing, it could be a family thing. Sometimes when you have people in your family that you have not got such a good rapport with, you know, it's uncomfortable to be in the same room as them, even though you may feel that you can manage that. But I feel like here, for some of you, this may be somebody that you've had a lot bigger interaction or even intimacy with. It feels to me like somewhere you're going is, or being invited to, there is somebody here that you have healed from, whatever that is. Now, again, it could be a family member, it could be a romance. All right, so we have the Three of Wands. Look, I can't help thinking here when I look at this that that is definitely the energy of walking away from someone. So there is sort of an energy here that you were strong enough to face your future, strong enough to turn your back on something and walk away. I feel like here with the Wheel of Fortune, 100% you did the right thing. Whatever this was, you were meant to do that with the Wheel of Fortune. Could have been a divine masculine here with the Emperor, but it could have also been somebody here who pretended to be somebody they weren't. So it could be a family member. I feel with that Emperor energy, there may have been quite a lot of manipulation. So it could be romantic, but whoever it is, you are now in a position of choosing whether to front up to them. And I somehow feel with this invitation, it's not that you've got to do it, but I feel like you don't want to go, but I feel with that Wheel of Fortune, you feel like you need to. So whatever this is, it's drawing you back into an old paradigm or an old idea, a way of being that you no longer subscribe to anymore. Because I feel with that Temperance card, you walked away, you let something go, and it was the way things were meant to work out. I'm not really sure you want to go in and front up again, but I have a feeling here that you are going to choose to do that because you feel like the bigger person. So let's have a look and see where we go. Okay, Eight of Swords. So there's anxiety here. The Eight of Swords is a little bit of a victim card though. We see someone trapped in the Eight of Swords that is quite visibly able to escape, but because they have a blindfold on, they don't want to face the truth, or they don't want to face up to something. So this is all in the head. This isn't real. And if you've been an overthinker, which many of us have, you'll understand that when you start to get in your head about things, you will automatically go to the worst case scenario. And you start feeling sort of that energy of really coming down on yourself. Again, I'm not really sure what happens in childhood to make us feel that way, but my thinking and feeling is that somehow or another we expect the worst because that way we don't face disappointment. So if we expect things to be, you know, great all the time and then they're not, we feel really disappointed. So it's almost like we expect the worst so that we can not expect that things will be good. Now, somebody once said to me, oh, that's just being realistic. And I have to question, is that being realistic when you look on the negative side of things? Because I don't feel that it is. I don't know what your energy of realism is, but for me, I've understood over the years that when I think like that, the best thing I can do is challenge it. So if I think a negative thought, I immediately go, wow, why did I go to that? And then I try to turn it round so it changes that perspective. And I found for me personally, that has really helped me to see more of when those negative thoughts jump in. So when the Eight of Swords comes around, it does make me feel that some of you have really got down and dirty with the negative, catastrophic thinking, thinking the worst possible scenario. So if that's you and you're doing this about this particular situation, at least be the observer of your own mind. See where you're going with things and ask yourself, is that real? Is that true? Is that going to happen? That's your ego trying to protect you right there. So the Eight of Swords energy coming through here. So I do have the Four of Wands. All right, so this is really nice because this is exactly what I'm talking about. So, you know, if you're going to see someone and you're immediately jumping into this sort of, you know, the worst possible scenario, this Four of Wands here is asking you to look at the best case scenario. So the Four of Wands is all about stability, you know, putting down roots, building something solid. The Eight of Swords is completely the opposite. So there is an energy here that the universe is asking you, what is the best case scenario here? Why are you sort of moving towards the worst case scenario? And then we have the Tower. So again, the Tower is a card that people go, ooh, the Tower. It is not, ooh, the Tower. The Tower is an amazing card because what it tells us is that something needs to be taken away in order for something new to be rebuilt. So what you need to think of is if you're in this situation, you've got to front up to somebody that you've had some sort of falling out with. I'm pretty sure that they would either feel exactly the same way or they would have some sort of apprehension about, unless they're narcissistic, in which case they're probably not going to give two hoots anyway. So when the Tower comes in, you could be dealing with a Scorpio here or even an Aries. When the Tower comes in, it says the way you have been thinking here is no longer serving you. The way you've constructed something for yourself is no longer serving you. You need to rebuild it with a stronger foundation this time. It needs to be built differently because the one you built is crumbling. It's done. It's served its purpose. It's gone. So when I see these three cards, I get this beautiful feeling that no matter what you're facing up to here, you need to let go of, however hard it is. Because for some unknown reason, you've built it up to be Goliath. And you need to start again. You need to get rid of the old way of doing things and bring in a brand new way. All right, so we have the Prince of Swords coming through here with the Justice card. It's Karma. Karma beautifully at its best. Eight of Cups moving away from the energy. And we have the Princess of Wands here. I can't help thinking that there is some sort of communication that is going to come through on this event. And I feel like with this Tower here, it's going to show you the way you've been seeing things is not the way things are. Good example of this. I've used this example before, but I feel like sometimes it's a really good example. You know, one day I was walking down the street and I saw somebody that I knew, and I knew them quite well. And I said, hey, how you going? And they didn't speak to me. And I remember walking towards work and I was almost in tears because I was like, why did they not say hello? What was the problem? What was going on? And then, of course, everything starts to go through your head. Did I say something? Did I do something? You know, trying to think of the last time you saw them. How did that conversation go? You know, did somebody say something bad about me? So I was going through all of this energy. Anyway, I wasn't very good at facing up to things. I was very much the people pleaser and sort of ignoring the bad behaviours and just chewing away on them myself and ruminating. So I think a few days later I bumped into that person again, and I don't know, I had this sort of just a moment of bravado, I guess, and I sort of paced up and said, can I talk to you for a moment? Can I ask you why you ignored me the other day? And somebody said, where were you the other day? I said, walking down the street, you ignored me. They said, I didn't see you. And I was like, what, you didn't see me? No, didn't see you. Where was it? And I was like, how could you have not seen me? How could you have not done that? But then it occurred to me how much I had thought into that one occasion. And so I started to realize then that sometimes when you spiral, or sometimes when you catastrophize, you go down that path of thinking everything is bad, you may be setting yourself up for a big fall. I feel like here, there is something happening here that is going to make you realize not only how far you've come, but how little attention you really need to pay anymore to this particular situation. It's relieving you. It's taking something out. I feel like with this Justice and this Eight of Cups, it's like you're realizing something is completed and it's time to walk away. And I feel like you're making it in your head so much worse than it is, when in reality, it's nothing. But your own mind, your ego is playing those tricks on you here. All right, let's see what else is going on. All right, so beautiful. We have the Six of Swords and the Eight of Cups. Big walking away, big lesson learned here with that Tower. Really understanding. Yep, see the Moon card coming through here with the Ace of Cups. Okay, I feel like with the Ace of Cups here, this is sort of saying to me that something here is sort of deep within you and not allowing yourself to love yourself the way you do, because you are maybe constantly picking holes in yourself or blaming yourself for things that aren't necessarily who you are. So I feel like once this block is removed, once this tower comes down, there's this sense of love coming through for yourself, this sense of realization about who you are. And I feel that's really potent here with the Ace of Cups. Very, very potent energy. Now, for example, you could be bumping into an ex or somebody that you've had a relationship with. Maybe you felt rejected by them. I hate the word rejection, but maybe they didn't choose you. Maybe whatever this was just fell on its ass and never gave you an opportunity. And that is what you feel embarrassed about. What if this person comes up and gives you a reason for why that happened? And the reason is a good reason. And then they proceed to tell you that there was nothing. It was nothing to do with you. It was just something to do with what they were facing at the time. And all of a sudden, all your fears, all those things that you didn't know are moved aside. What happens if this person tells you they were really in love with you, but at the time they weren't able to do something? It's like your fears are being swept away here, and you are understanding this level of love for self. But maybe in this energy, you were blaming yourself for everything that went wrong in that situation. There is some sort of validation coming for you that is going to help you walk away and move on. This is the Justice card. This is the card of karma. Now, for some of you, you could be divorced from this person or separated from this person, absolutely. But I feel like somehow or another, you are feeling a very strong sense of relief. And I feel like it was meant to come at this time. Maybe you've harbored resentment and you haven't been able to forgive, and all of that will take place here. You're letting go of something. So if this is a family member, maybe somehow or another, instead of blaming yourself and looking at all the things you did wrong, you're able to let everything go now. And that is what it's all about. It's allowing you to just move away, walk away, take anything that you need with you, but leave what you don't need behind. And maybe you've hung on to this for a really long time. All right, let's just have a quick look. So I feel like some sort of invitation is coming through where you have a choice of whether to attend or not. I feel like you've been through a lot of healing and you've moved forward here. You walked away from something in your past, as a matter of fact, especially with this tells me very much sort of karmic energy, something you needed to learn about yourself. I feel like it might have something to do with somebody here, looks like a significant male, that somehow you've got yourself trapped in some sort of illusion here about how things are. Something here is changing dramatically to move you from this energy of lack into this energy of gratitude and forgiveness. Beautiful reading. All right, let's have a look at the Shaman's Oracle this morning. It's funny because sometimes the cards just reflect each other in the opposites. And I keep looking at this thinking, whatever this is, whoever this is, it's not scary anymore. It doesn't frighten you anymore. It doesn't worry you. It's like in a moment you're going to be relieved of all those negative emotions. And you're going to replace them with this level of self-love that is so beautiful. But you know who you are now. You know who you are. You just need to let go of who you were. Such a beautiful reading. Whoops, and what's come out? Many masks. Oh, I love Spirit. The authentic self. Look at that. All right, let's have a read of card 38. I always say, you know, like the Oracle card for me is always like I just think, I can't even explain it, but I just think when the card just really represents the reading, it blows me away. We live in a world where everyone we see wears a mask. That is an illusion. So if you see the Seven of Cups, that's the card I always think is the card that says someone was wearing a mask, and you've got an emperor here wearing a mask. We wear these masks to cover up and protect who we really are. We learn to do so because we've been conditioned to try to appear a certain way to fit into society. Masks allow us to belong, so we remain within the confines of what is expected. Masks are not inherently bad. Rather, they provide context and structure for our personalities and soul's expression. Some of us might believe that a particular mask fixed and hardened onto us is a permanent face. I always talk about that may be something we're so used to that we don't see it. We forget that we are living beings with a multitude of faces, enabling us to experience a more fuller, more vibrant world. Your authentic essence doesn't want to be constrained by others' expectations anymore. Now is the time to strip away the mask you've accepted and discover who you really are. A new self is emerging and your perception changes as you adopt new ways of being. Right now, it's very important to allow yourself to experiment, to experience the world in all its myriad potentials and possibilities. Try on different masks and let yourself be fluid and curious. Now, this is what I say to people. There are times when we need that mask, where we put on those masks willingly. They don't necessarily hide who we are, but they might help us with certain aspects. Like, for example, if you've got to go out and do a speech to 1,000 people and you're feeling really nervous about doing that, sometimes you just sort of pretend you've got a lot of confidence and you pretend that you really feel confident with what you know. So it may be a little bit of pretense, but it's necessary, and you let it go afterwards, and it helps you do what you need to do. That's why I say it's not a bad thing. Wearing hats, that's what we used to call it. So you may have a hat that you wear differently with your grandmother to what you do with your mates. Okay, so I feel like it says here, how will you know what you love and what you resonate with if you don't take off the mask you've always worn and test drive some new ones? Your authentic essence will never change. It will only express itself differently through these optional selves. Through trial and error, you discover more and more about who you want to become, what it would feel like to explore this side of you. Anything is possible if you're willing to open up to your potential. You truly can move beyond the barriers that society has set. Use your imagination and step into the magic. What if you haven't talked to somebody for a while and you're feeling like I did that when I said I approached that person I thought had ignored me? I was really nervous about doing that, but it made me more upset that it had happened. So maybe if you're in this position and you've got to come into a situation you feel really uncomfortable about, maybe it's time to remove whatever it is that stopped you from speaking up to yourself for yourself before. Doesn't mean you've got to be aggressive or horrible to people. It just means you've got to be true to how you're feeling. I'll leave you with that. Thank you.